Hi, I'm Sanaya.
And I'm Ketki.
And we're Thinking People. Today, we're thinking about recommendations we'd like to make to our faithful listeners as we close out 2025. This is a special episode. It's our last episode of the year, and we are also joined today by a very special guest. We have producer Sourav, who is breaking the fourth wall, joining us and contributing his recommendations to people who have enjoyed the fruits of his labors if they've listened to any episode of Thinking People this year. So, Sourav, would you like to introduce yourself?
Welcome, Sourav.
Hello, everyone. They have finally let me out of the dungeon.
Yeah, we keep him locked up, and he is only working on his laptop with like supremely quick turnaround so that we release our episodes in record time. But welcome, Sourav. Thank you so much for joining us. So for these year-end recommendations, we're keeping it simple. We are talking about the things we read, things we listened to, things we watched, anything that left a mark on us this year that we want to recommend so that you can carry it over for your holidays. We're entering the holiday season. All three of us will have 3 recommendations each. So I've asked both Ketki and Sourav to come armed with anything that they consumed this year that they'd like to recommend. And we can go one by one. So before we start, I think I'm just really just anticipating that Ketki, you and I, we may just end up having incredibly basic recommendations, and Saurav's gonna have some out of left field,
obscure.
Yeah. You're gonna give this podcast edge, Sourav.
Yeah.
Sourav, are all your recommendations pop culture recommendations, or do you have technology recommendations also?
We'll see. I mean, I'm not sure yet.
He's figuring it out as we go along. I love it.
Yeah,
Great.
we're keeping it spontaneous today.
I'm actually. I was wondering if we just to sort of keep the intrigue up. If we sort of we each take turns, but only reveal one at a time.
No, one at a time.
Okay,
so
cool.
I think, Ketki, I think I'm not going to put Sourav on the spot. I'm going to ask you to go first.
Oh man. Okay, fine.
Reveal yourself.
I will reveal myself. So 2 of the 3 recommendations, I do have some special mentions because it was very hard to narrow it down. There's a lot of great things, a lot of interesting things that I watched, read, consumed this year. But 2 of these 3 recommendations are not from 2025. They are material, pieces of media, yes, that I really enjoyed this year or I discovered this year. So the first of which is a book which I read earlier this year. So my friends that do know me know that I really love Nora
She has
Ephron.
friends who don't know her.
Yes, sorry.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
My friends know that I love Nora Ephron. Nora Ephron is a celebrated writer and director. She's directed iconic films like When Harry Met Sally, You've Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle, you name it. Completely changed the rom-com genre in general. Started off as a food and lifestyle writer for many magazines, most notably The New Yorker. And I have just loved her films all along. I've rewatch many of them every single year, actually. And I'm a big fan. But I had never read her one and only novel, which is Heartburn, which is came out in oh God, actually I don't know when it came out. Jesus, I should Google this right this instant. 1983 is my guess. Wait. Novel by Nora Ephron. 1983. Oh my God, I was right on the money. Okay. Came out in 1983, and this is a novel that is based on her divorce from Carl Bernstein, who is Carl Bernstein of Bernstein and Woodward fame, aka the 2 journalists that took down Richard Nixon with the Watergate scandal. And essentially, the story goes that he cheated on her when she was pregnant with their first child, and it sort of flooded gossip columns back in the day and things like that. And it was a big moment in her life, obviously, and it triggered a divorce. So this novel is essentially her kind of writing about that, but it's not autobiographical. It is autobiographical, but she gives the characters different names, and I think tweaks the story here and there. So it is largely or maybe loosely based on her divorce. But I really, really enjoyed this novel a lot because it's this like beautiful blend of like humor and heartbreak and sort of navigating divorce through that lens. Something that I personally have not experienced, but I just found it to be very refreshing because I think a lot of these themes of like heartbreak and sort of the disintegration of a marriage or a disintegration of a relationship are usually sort of explored through a lot of often morbid, sad, like I mean it is morbid and sad, but that kind of lens. But this was actually like there were moments in the novel where I found myself like laughing out loud. And it has this like very unique like Nora Ephron charm and eclecticism that she writes with, which I feel like is completely lost in the modern day and age. And this ability to just sort of find wit in any kind of situation. And basically like through the reason it's called Heartburn is food is a big metaphor in this novel. And it's basically about like, yes, she's going through this thing, but she sort of returns to food, and because at the time she was a food writer, as a source of comfort. So like there's a lot of like different recipes and sort of moments and symbols with food that are kind of like integrated into the storyline, which make it all the more interesting and rich. But yeah, I loved it. It's a great book and novel that I mean, highly recommend. If anyone has ever been interested in her films, they should definitely read it. This is also Lena Dunham's favorite
Yeah.
book, and she's also a big fan of Nora Ephron in general. And there is a film version of this with Meryl Streep and what's his name? Not God, the scary looking man. God.
Scary looking man.
Nick, no. Why am I forgetting his name?
Did you watch the movie also?
I have not watched the movie.
Jack
Jack
Nicholson?
Nicholson. Yes. God, I was like Nicolas Cage. And I'm like, no, Jack Nicholson.
No.
Sorry, guys. It's been a long day, and I have given all of these recommendations all but 10 minutes of thought. So
You've lived them. I think
I've lived them.
that counts.
Yeah.
I think related to this recommendation is also, I think, the recommendation of taking a bookcation, which is what
Yes.
allowed you to read the book.
Yes, I read this with you, Sanaya, actually. Early in April, we decided to go to Shimla and take a bookcation. It was me, Sanaya, and a friend, and we went to Shimla for 3 days and just decided that the agenda of this vacation is going to be for us to take a book along with us and read it. And we succeeded. And yeah, it's a great idea for a vacation. And I think it triggered
Have you read a book since?
Yeah, I definitely have. This bookcation, I think, triggered like a resurgence of a reading habit for at least 3 months after that. And then I started a new job and things got crazy and it completely fell off the wagon again. But yes, I have read a book since. So yeah.
You know, I watched When Harry Met Sally for the first time this year.
Is it recently after Rob Reiner's death? Or
No. Like he died like 2 days ago, 3 days. I watched it like in October.
Okay, right.
Yeah. I watched it at 7 a.m. in the morning. Sourav, have you watched When Harry Met Sally?
I have not, no.
Have you watched any of these rom-coms that we mentioned? Like You've Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle?
No.
Okay.
No.
I may have watched them, but like I've kind of like put it in the part of my mind where I don't have to remember about them.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Honestly, I feel like When Harry Met Sally, I could not get it out of my head is this idea that you are like platonic with someone, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But you're talking and you're platonic with someone of the gender that you are attracted to, but you're constantly talking about your sex life. In my mind, that means you're interested in them. So I didn't buy their friendship for like 1 second.
But that's the point of the movie, which is that they eventually realize that they've always been attracted to each other.
But I don't think that they were friends. I didn't
ever.
think there was
Yeah.
a friendship. I didn't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
there
yeah.
was like a friendship at the core. And I think my preconception of the movie was that, oh, this is about like you becoming friends with someone and then realizing you love them. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know if they
No.
were ever friends. Like,
This is not that story for sure. But I can see why you would have thought that, because I think the film has been seminal because it's triggered that discourse.
yeah.
So yeah.
And then that whole idea of like Harry saying that I don't think men and women can be friends because they always want to sleep with each other.
Hmm.
Like, and I'm like, no, you guys want to sleep with each other. So yeah, I mean, I think I was past the phase of my life in which I would enjoy it beyond a point. Like it was a perfect movie, I will say, in terms of pacing, storytelling, etc. But like I didn't like emotionally resonate with me.
To be very honest, I don't think it's my favorite film of hers. I understand why it's such a celebrated movie, because again, it sort of like changed the trajectory of the genre in completely, right? And introduced new themes and a new sort of like format of storytelling. But my favorite film of hers is actually You've Got Mail. I feel like there's like deeper characterization, a better story at the heart of it. When Harry Met Sally, if you think about it, is the only film which you're like, okay, this could actually happen in real life. Something like You've Got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle, the premise of those movies,
Yeah.
that plot can only exist in a film. Like it does not happen in real life.
Yeah.
And if you were to sit and dissect it, some things are like definitely problematic. But she's able to tell and weave that story so much better, because like at this point she's been doing it for longer,
Right.
that I think they make for better films. This is
I
my
see.
personal take. But yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So we have one recommendation down. Are we ready to hard pivot, Sourav? What's your first recommendation?
Come on, Sourav.
He's like
It's the
let's-
opposite.
let's
of
change the
hard pivot.
conversation. Yeah.
Right. My first recommendation for this year is going to be something I don't think you guys discuss a lot on your podcast.
Is it going to be Genshin Impact, Sourav?
It is going to be Ancient Impact, Sanaya.
Wow.
It's been half a decade since the Chinese developers at MiHoYo and HoYoverse roped me in to their really, really well-built world.
Yep.
And I must say, right, if you're not somebody who's much into like gaming, if you're not somebody who's not that much of a fan of playing video games, this is a great entry point into your gambling addiction. So
Tell the people, like for the uninitiated, what is Genshin Impact?
Well, Genshin Impact is a role-playing game. It's an RPG. It's produced by HoYoverse, which is a group of developers based out of China. It's technically a gacha game, which basically means that it's free to play, but you pay money for certain parts of the game to make it more interesting. The best part about the game is that it's got a fantastic storyline. Like just the best storyline. I mean, every 2 weeks, I'm kind of like waiting for my fix where they launch a new part of the story.
Oh, wow.
And it's just that excitement that you kind of get up in the morning and you're like, oh, it's going to launch today.
Right.
I just want to play for the next 4 hours just to get an idea of the story.
Wow.
And
when do you play? Like at what time of day?
well, these guys are helpful enough to launch a recap of your year to show you your playing statistics. And apparently, I play the most between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m.
No way that they
Oh.
do that, but that's crazy. Wow. But also believable that you do that.
Yeah.
Between
And
4 a.m.
I mean, it's a fantastic game, right? And this year in particular has been really good for its story. And, last year it was kind of meh, but this year I think they really built up the story. They did a back to form in the kind of narrative that they were talking about. And yeah, it's something that I would just recommend to like casual gamers.
So when you say story, does it mean like the setting in which your character exists and what its circumstances are?
Yes and no. This is like one of those open world games, right? Do whatever you want type of games. But there is a core plot line which has been progressing very slowly for the last 5 years.
Right.
And it's kind of reached the point now where they're moving towards the end game, right? We're coming to the end of the plot. Of course, it's not going to be the end of the plot. It's a multi-billion-dollar game, so they'll find a way to make it continue. But the idea is that it gives you some sense of closure, right? Because when the plot moves forward, and it has a lot of lore. I mean, when you're not playing the game, they have books that have come out. They have lore that exists on the internet. There are forums that are ripe with conspiracy about what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
I would like to interject with an anecdote.
Yes, please do. If you didn't bring it up, I would ask you to.
I was in Japan. I was in Kyoto. And I texted Sourav and I said, hey, I'm at the manga museum. Okay. Or I'm at the manga museum and like, there's a whole bunch of merch here and stuff. And I know that he's interested in sort of, I don't know if you were interested in manga necessarily, but anime or something like that. And I said, like, do you want me to get you anything? And you said, actually, I asked you, what can I bring you from Japan in general?
I forgot the first. I did not read the second part of the message.
And then you said, either good stationery stuff, or if you plan to visit any anime stores, then Genshin Impact merch. Now, I didn't bother to like research what Genshin Impact is or anything like that. So I go to the store in this manga museum and I ask this poor Japanese man. Like I look around in the store, I don't find anything about Genshin Impact. And I asked this poor Japanese man, I'm like, hey, do you have anything called like Genshin Impact? Do you have like any books or like merch and stuff like that? And it confuses the crap out of him. And he's just like, what? He was just like, what? And then he asked me to repeat the name like some 3 times. Anyway, only for us to eventually find out that this is not even, firstly, not a manga or an anime.
No.
And it's not even from Japan.
No.
It's Chinese.
But I literally asked you, can I get you something from Japan? I'm at the manga museum. Just,
Yeah.
Should read my text better.
What do you mean? You should read my text better.
I read that you were in Japan. I'm like, hey, you know what? There are stores that are going to sell
No,
merch.
Japan is close to China. And maybe...
No, but there are stores.
Yeah, but sorry, Sourav, continue. If you have anything more to share.
Yeah, that's my first recommendation. I did have better games to recommend, but we'd have to mark this podcast in a separate category if I go off on that tangent.
One day we will.
Oh,
Let's bookmark that. We just might.
But to anybody listening, definitely try it out. Barrier to entry, you don't need a computer. You can play it on your phone.
Android phones as well.
I'm intrigued. I don't play any video games. I've never been interested in them, but like I feel like a plot-based, like a story-based video game would be interesting.
So I'll give you some context. There's a couple of friends who have introduced to this game, just like crack addicts introduce other people to crack.
Yeah.
And
Sure. That's the same thing. Yes.
It's come to the point where whenever a new part of the story is released, it's like I have not spoken to this person in the last 3 weeks and we've not had any conversation, but the story is released and we're just sharing screenshots with all caps text saying what is happening.
Right.
Okay. But does the story, like, are you able to control the narrative or the plot at all? Or it just you have to move along the way it does?
So, yeah, that's a good point. No, you can't control where the plot takes you, right? You just kind of play along. That's
This is very philosophical.
So there are games that allow you to do that. But
Right. Okay.
this is not one of them.
I guess the kind of game you like says a lot about a person. Yeah.
Yeah. But interesting. Okay. Moving on to Sanaya.
It's my
Come on.
turn.
Yeah.
So, I just realized that all my recommendations are things that I got into literally in the last 3 months. It's like first 3 quarters of the
Is it
year have not
recency
happened.
bias?
I didn't even attempt to make my mind go back further than September. So I think my first recommendation is actually a podcast, which I started listening to, I want to say 3 weeks ago. So it's not been long, but I think I've already listened to more than 50% of its like catalog, and it's an incredibly popular podcast. I think like a lot of people have already heard it. I've told both of you about it, but it was something that has like consumed my past 3 weeks. So I thought it's like my one legitimate recommendation based on like obsessive listening. So it's a podcast called If Books Could Kill. And it's an amazing concept. It's the kind of thing that you wish you could come up with. Like it's so simple and so immediately good, and its tagline kind of captures everything. So it's basically about the airport reads that captured our hearts and ruined our minds. So in each episode, the two hosts, their names are Michael Hobbs, who's a journalist, and his co-host Peter, who I think is a lawyer, and he's kind of there for comedic effect, but because he doesn't have a journalism background. So they essentially break down a popular fiction, nonfiction book, which you would ordinarily pick up at an airport, which is mostly filled with unsubstantiated nonsense, but is incredibly popular. So it's the kind of stuff that you'd find on most bookshelves where you have people who have English language books. It's stuff like Sapiens. It's stuff like The Secret, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Think of any book which is in the self-help category, in the celebrity memoir category, in the dating advice category, stuff like The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, all of those books, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they break it down, and I think it really made me think about a bunch of things. One is their kind of approach towards reporting anything and citing evidence. In many of the cases, they do more research for an episode than the authors of the books that they are discussing did for writing that book.
Great.
Right? So they, like, for example, they have an entire episode about like the COVID lab leak theory, and they kind of illustrate like how it was reported on, and then they basically do a lot of their own fact finding. It's mostly like secondary research that they do, and sometimes Michael, who's the journalist, like he'll reach out to like scientists or relevant experts and speak to them, right? So they've actually done an episode, for example, on Anxious Generation, the Jonathan Haidt book, which I thought like was a good book. And I thought that Jonathan Haidt was maybe like a good researcher. And they said that they spoke to more teenagers in preparation for the episode than Jonathan Haidt did for writing that book. Like he kind of pulled it out of his ass. He didn't really speak to actual teenagers while writing about. Yeah, exactly. So the thing that it made me think is our consumption of information has become so piecemeal, because I remember there was a time when I used to, if I picked up a piece of news from social media, I would make it a point to read an entire article if I was going to share it with anybody else. And like over time, I stopped doing that. Like I would only read like the caption or the headline. I wouldn't really get into the depth of it. And I found myself not trying to inform myself about like the larger context or all the facts of a situation. And this podcast kind of makes you realize the importance of having a bigger picture. So I cannot recommend it enough. It's already incredibly popular. But there's this other thing in my mind, like I'm like interested in research and one day would want to like, write a book maybe that is based on research that I've done. And in my head, it's like, I have to write something that passes muster, because my nightmare is like half baking my research method or like my evidence gathering and writing something that can be ripped apart by these people. So yeah. And on top of everything, it is very funny. Like it is like, I have been falling asleep to the sounds of these people talking. I don't think this is healthy. I think it's not every day that something like satiates an obsessive desire in me, but this definitely did. And yeah, 3 weeks and many, many hours.
Do you have a favorite episode?
I really think that the first episode I listened to, which was Sapiens, it was, because it was
You must have absolutely ripped into that book. literally
So
and
I
figuratively.
did not know what Sapiens was about, but apparently in that Yuval Noah Harari says that like agriculture was a mistake for the human race because when it comes to agriculture, it opens up different work streams. And then as a result, people started working and toiling for like 12 hours a day. But like if you were a nomadic, like hunter gatherer, like community, you only needed to work 4 or 5 hours a day. Like this is an actual claim that he has made, which like, what? Like
Yeah.
on the basis of that, shouldn't you like completely write off an entire book? But I know. I've seen it in my parents' house. I feel like whatever house I walk into, I will see a Yuval Noah
It
Harari
just
book.
sounds smart, right?
Does it sound smart? I don't know.
No, Sapiens.
Yeah.
Oh, say, yeah. I even think like the titles of these books, like The Secret. I think that The Secret is like, I feel like I knew that was rubbish.
Yeah.
But
you did mention Robert Kiyosaki, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
Is just so funny because Rich Dad Poor Dad, the author Robert Kiyosaki, recently came out, I mean, about a year ago, I think, saying that he's $1.2 billion in debt. Right. So, and the last 3 of his businesses have gone bankrupt.
Right.
Oh,
So it's pretty
God.
much become like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Poor Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh,
Is-
God.
Is he a dad? Like, why is it about dads?
He's been proven to be a grifter, basically. So
Yes. So all of the people who write these books are grifters.
Yeah.
Like they basically showcase how they are grifting people because it's like you need to have like an idea that's just slightly insane, but like
Yeah.
simple enough for a lot of people to want to believe it.
I'm also like suspicious of books that try to condense like such a long time frame into like one, like, I mean, I feel like you can't do that in general. And I have read like a few chapters of this book back when it came out, and it was like all the rage and stuff, but it didn't really necessarily hold my attention. And I at the time also remember feeling like even if it was trying to be like sort of that history lesson.
Which book? Sapiens?
Yeah. Sorry.
Right.
I was not talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad, back to Sapiens, but I never really felt like, I don't know if he's saying anything interesting to me, at least, necessarily. So
I do
Yeah.
think that these books kind of give this veneer of intellectualism. So like you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I just need to read this 200-page book and then I know the history of all of humanity. But if you want to sound smart, you should listen to this podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good tips, Anaya.
Yeah, more recommendations all around. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have all done our first recommendation. So Katie,
Yes.
back to you. What's recommendation number 2?
Recommendation number 2 is a film. So
Mhm.
when I was thinking about like what would like make this list, honestly, like I said, it was a difficult decision, but also I feel like the top 3 were relatively easy because I kind of just went for the films or media that like sort of just I think evoked like an emotional like reaction in me, and also are pieces of media that I think I want to go back to.
Correct.
And this film is definitely one of them. I sort of chanced upon it. I actually had not ever heard of it before, funnily enough, even though like a relatively famous director made it. It's called Out of Sight. It's a 1998 film starring George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo. Insane plot, but it's by this director called Steven Soderbergh, who is also the same person who directed Ocean's 11, like the entire Ocean's trilogy, Erin Brockovich, Sex Lies and Videotape. What else has he done? Yeah, then I think he just went into like making some weird movies like Logan Lucky. I don't know if you've seen that one. Magic Mike's Last Dance. So it's like an interesting journey that he's been on. But his
Correct.
earlier films have been interesting. And George Clooney has also credited him with kind of giving, like not necessarily launching his career, but giving his career like this new lease
Right.
of life after like television and really making him a star. This film, sort of chanced upon it and I thought it was interesting. And I think I saw like some stills of the film on Instagram, and the stills were like, it was like an image of J Lo and George Clooney just staring at each other, and there was a quote from the film, and that like really drew me in, and I was just like, oh, I'm interested, I want to watch this movie. And the same night, I think it was on Prime or something, and I watched this movie.
Right.
And
Isn't it nice when you chance upon a movie and it is available on streaming?
Yes. First of all, yes, absolutely. So that was great. I watched this movie. Okay, now I'm going to tell you the plot. It's an absolutely crazy.
What? Are we a spoiler friendly?
No, I won't give away too much.
Okay.
I will give you like a little premise, a little like feeler, a log line. In this movie, George Clooney plays the character of Jack Foley, who is a career bank robber. Okay, and the film opens with him in a
like he's never been caught.
No, he's incarcerated at the beginning of the film, and he's in a penitentiary, whatever. I can't pronounce it. He's in prison, basically.
Yeah,
he plots his escape, and he escapes from prison.
Shawshank Redemption. Who?
Yeah, and there's this like police chase, and J Lo is the police officer.
Oh,
okay, and essentially the entire film is kind of about like it's a little bit more about his story than hers, where they explore like there are flashbacks to how he actually gets into prison and like how he becomes a bank robber and all of those things. And then it cuts to like sort of modern day time about him now fleeing the police. But essentially, there like when she's sort of chasing after him, him and the other person that he escaped with catch a hold of her and lock her up in their trunk. Okay, and
so they've kidnapped her.
They've kidnapped the police officer, and for whatever reason, George Clooney has also been put into this trunk. And there is like electric.
How big is this trunk?
It's big. It's a car in the 90s. Okay, like it was.
Is it like a sedan?
Like it was. I don't know what car it was, but
was
has
it
a
a truck?
You know those memes, right, of the Cadillac, which is this goes
yes,
on
it was
and
like
on.
a Cadillac. Exactly. Okay.
Is there a light source in the trunk?
There was like some kind of red light.
Okay.
I just remember there being a red light.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not going to give away too much more, but there is an intense chemistry between the two of them, okay?
Yeah.
And the entire film, now at this point, the entire film is them basically nearly missing each other because it's her job to catch him, and he keeps fleeing But they
were in the trunk together.
They were in the trunk together. I think the car gets into an accident or something like that. So then they have to like get out and they like run away. But when they're in the trunk together, there's like a conversation exchange and there's like electric chemistry. And basically after that, the film is kind of about this police officer and this like very, very famous criminal being attracted to each other, but also being on the chase. Like she's on the chase and he's running away from her, and they sort of like nearly miss each other. But when they do find each other and he knows he has to run away, they sort of like exchange glances, and there's like, again, there's chemistry and all of that. And then right before she has to catch him, okay, I don't know. I don't want to give away too much.
Give us a cliffhanger, a great cliffhanger.
I mean, I'm guessing it's an ancient movie. If you haven't watched it, it's your problem.
This is a spoiler. This is spoiler-free zone. So my toxic trait is I think I will end up watching every movie at some point. So
that's wow. Okay, like every movie in the world.
No, I mean like I may watch Out of Sight. You know,
but
the whole point is you're recommending it so that we watch it.
I guess it's in this case, there's like a double question, right? Where it is like, will they, won't they get together, and will she, won't she catch him? And like, will he go to prison? I won't answer either of these questions.
Don't answer them.
I will tell you why I think this film like really like it's still like stuck in my memory, and I'm like, I want to go and watch it again. Firstly, the plot is like, it's obviously crazy, right? Like the fact that you're able to conjure up this plot and I feel like a film like this would not be made today. So like there's definitely like it, I think appeals to like kind of like a 1998 sensibility, but it is so well executed. And I think the use of chemistry, like when I say electric chemistry, I mean electric chemistry. I have not seen it like that in many films. Like it is absolutely ridiculous. That chemistry between these two lead characters carries the movie, which is already like a very interesting plot and like very, very stylistically directed. Like it's, I think, is a very beautiful direction, cinematography, all of those things. But it actually got me thinking about the role of chemistry in general in filmmaking and how like directors use it to like obviously to forward the plot. And I think we see this in more like traditional love stories. This was not one of those.
Right.
But it's kind of added in as a device to accelerate like the tension in the movie, which is already a tense film. So,
do you think it's chemistry or do you think it's good writing and good acting?
I mean, it's chemistry performed on television, in film, right?
Right.
Yes. So it is good writing and good acting, 100%. Very good writing, in fact. And also, like J-Lo and George Clooney being extremely good looking also helps, I think. But it's all in all, it's just like a very stylish movie. It's the kind of film that I think Oceans wanted to be. But I feel like he was just not able to do that with those films. Like this was still his like early movies, and I feel like it just has a lot more like rigor and like artistic sort of like freshness to it also, where he's very like exploratory in the kind of like even shots that he takes and like how it's shot on like you can see that it's shot on film, and there's like beautiful sort of like sequences of like how nature is blending into like another scene and things like that. So it was just like a very stunning watch on all fronts, and I was like I remember finishing the film and I was like, this is what cinema is about. You know what I mean? Like
this is like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Yeah, it's again the same thing that I kind of said about like Sleepless in Seattle or You've Got Mail, where I'm like, this is not going to happen in real life. It's escapism. I know that. But for those like 120 minutes that I'm watching this movie, I am like sold. I'm in this world. I'm like, it's believable that a very sexy police officer who's on the tail of like a bank robber.
Yeah, that's their meet cute.
They're going to find some kind of, that's their meet cute, and they're going to be attracted to each other, and maybe things will happen and maybe things won't happen. But I love that realism is like pulled out of it. And instead it's like this new other kind of story that it's constructed. And the reason it felt so refreshing to me is I feel like a lot of like modern storytelling falls prey to having like, I feel like maybe if it's not realism, it's like it has to be believable in some context, right? Like there is a kind of like a social media audience that's going to dissect this. And I don't know, I just feel like older films are interesting because I feel like I think they weren't written in this sort of current ecosystem of like, how will people perceive it or what kind of discourse will a certain film the story have about it, which I think that a lot of current writers and directors suffer from, and I feel like that is imbued into their filmmaking. But anyway, I enjoyed it very much. Highly recommend. Even more so than the Ocean's trilogy, which I mean,
so Steven Soderbergh actually had a new movie that came out this year, which is like has a lot of the same tropes that you just described. The Black Bag.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
I've not seen it.
I actually did watch that movie, and like as you were describing it, I was like, hey, there are many elements of what you just described in this movie, where you have like two leads, Michael Fassbender, Kate Blanchett, very attractive. They have like this tension-laden chemistry where they're both spies, but they're both spies who are like kind of in opposition to each other, but they're also married to each other. So you don't know, is one of them betraying the other? Are they betraying the system? What's going on? And 1.5 hours, amazing movie. Watched it in the theater. So I think Steven Soderbergh has like, it's an interesting thing to have a penchant for. Like unlikely like romance on the wrong side of the law, basically.
Yeah. Okay. I did make a note of this movie, so I do want to watch it, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And I'm glad that it was a good film also. So
Yeah. Okay.
cool. Saurav, back to you.
Sodas. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm torn. I'm torn between a movie and a TV show.
Oh my God. I want to hear both.
So let's start with the movie. I think
Okay.
that's going to be short because it's not a new movie. It's a pretty old one. It's Death of Stalin.
Okay.
It's December and it's nearing the end of December, so it's time for my quarterly rewatch of the movie. If you
Nice.
haven't watched it, I would definitely recommend that you do. It's a political satire. It's black comedy, basically.
Right.
Fantastically directed. Also surprisingly historically accurate. I mean, with a lot of the political side, black satire, political comedy, etc., they tend to take a lot of creative liberty with the story. But in this particular case, it's actually, they did not mess around with history that much, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
But it's just such a good cast of characters, right? And very well produced, very funny movie. If you haven't watched it, you definitely should. Also, I'm a World War II history nut, so
Yeah. Nice.
this is one of the situations where I really like the movie.
I've heard really great things about this film, and also like Steve Buscemi
Yes,
is like in leading role, right?
he is.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic actor. He's got tons of range, and there is no plot to spoil. We all know how this played out.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of the things that they have done, right? And a lot of the historical movies, they tend to have English actors with fake Russian accents.
Okay. Yeah.
And it doesn't work, right? Because it kind of breaks you out of the immersion.
Yeah.
Or, more clever filmmakers will find a way to insert English into the plot.
Yeah.
Wherein this visibly, what was the movie that just came out about the Nuremberg trials?
I
Oh,
think it's
yeah.
called Nuremberg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Nuremberg, right? So
Yeah.
they had this entire arc, right, about trying to get Hermann Goring to talk in English, which, yeah, fine, but it's not really that accurate, right? But in this particular case, they just kind of decided to lean heavily into the fact that they had gotten a cast of British actors, American actors, etc.
Right.
And they used the regional accents to their advantage.
Right.
So Stalin had a Cockney accent.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And you have other actors who are coming from who were supposed to play more polished characters in the movie. They have King's English coming out of their mouth, right? So it's a really clever play on using accents in movies. They didn't overdo the comedy, even though it still ended up getting banned, right? But it was,
Where was it? In Russia?
there was opposition in Russia, and they ended up doing screenings of it in theaters,
Nice.
right? But it was just very well done movie.
Yeah. And it's written and I think directed by Armando Iannucci.
Yes,
He's the Scottish writer. And he's also the creator of Veep. And
No way.
yeah. And it's British predecessor, a show called The Thick of It. And they're all political satires. And yeah, I think he's a master at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I mean, related to this, I think there is one of his collaborators who is also the creator of one of my favorite shows now, Slow Horses. I'm forgetting his name. We can maybe cut this out, but still it was interesting. So there's this guy called Will Smith. British dude, but he's collaborated quite a bit with Armando Iannucci on The Thick of It and Veep, and he is the person who was the showrunner for Slow Horses for the first 5 seasons, everything that's come out up till now. And highly recommend that show, Sourav. If you really enjoy the output of Armando Iannucci, you should watch Slow Horses.
it's downloaded on my computer. I shall watch it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that was the movie. But the thing I was torn with is a series that I discovered actually quite 2023 is not recent. So
Hey,
is
it's recent.
Come on, it's
What do you mean? It's literally 2 years ago.
I mean, it's 2 years ago, right?
Okay, fine. Go on.
That's Tulsa King.
Tulsa King.
Dull sucking. Wow.
It is.
Never heard.
Drama series, Tulsa King.
It's a crime drama, right? And it
Nice.
features a very old Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
Oh, dull sucking. I
It
thought
is,
dull sucking.
yeah,
Sorry.
but it's a fantastic series.
Right.
I discovered it completely by accident on a random long haul flight because it was the only thing available in the entertainment system. And I watched season 1 over there.
Right.
And then a year later, I was on another long haul flight. So I watched season 2 over there.
Yeah.
And then season 3, I finally ended up watching at home. But
Wow.
it's such a cool series to see like old Stallone, right?
Right.
Still like it's not a very self-serious series.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes fun of itself. And Stallone, just as an old guy in a TV series, is just really funny to watch.
Hmm.
Are you a fan of Rocky, the Rocky series?
I am not a fan of the Rocky series, I would say, but I'm generally a fan of the entire Stallone versus Schwarzenegger and their era of like, the machoism, and like they would go out and make all of these like hyper masculine movies. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Who do you prefer, or do you appreciate them both for different things?
Schwarzenegger for Predator
Yeah.
and Stallone for, you could say the Rocky series. They're,
Hmm. I think there's something interesting. I think like when you chance upon a piece of media or
Yeah.
your film, like it does stay with you in a way that others don't. And it's like I have never heard of this show at all. And like that's I mean it's interesting. Like even the fact that I had never heard of Out of Sight, like again, it's like I'm just like, okay, I feel like I should have heard of it. You know what I mean? Like, because I have heard of many films, so I don't know. It's still nice that you can chance upon things and they can be good.
yeah.
And they can
An
stay with you.
underrated way to discover something like on a
Yeah,
flight.
truly, especially in this age of search and discovery.
No, I ended up discovering season 3 a bit by accident
Hmm.
because it showed up in my YouTube music recommendations. They have a really cool playlist, right? Of like,
Good songs.
70s, 80s, and 90s songs. And the theme music is also really cool. In fact, it happens to be the most replayed song this year, according to my YouTube recap.
Nice.
Mostly because it's like 40 seconds long and I probably kept it in loop and fell asleep. So that.
I just want to take a moment to talk about like the scourge of year-end Wrapped statistics that
Oh,
yeah.
every single app and platform is doing now. There's a
Yeah.
LinkedIn Wrapped.
It was
Okay.
horrible. I watched it today.
There's a LinkedIn Wrapped.
Yeah.
There's a LinkedIn Wrapped. There's a Google Photos Wrapped.
That was so bad because it used all of my WhatsApp photos and they're mostly memes.
Oh God.
Listen, because I work in communications, often at events, I have to take a lot of photographs, right? I work for a nonprofit, and one statistic is who appears in your like photos the most. So number 1 is me because I take selfies, but numbers 2, 3, and 4 are my colleagues because they have been in photos that I have taken at events. I just did not need to know this.
Yeah. I mean, it goes to show that like what the numbers say isn't necessarily always the most valuable thing to you. Like I often feel this way about like my Spotify Wrapped, which is like the top song will be one song that I listened to on one day because it was like on loop for whatever reason. Like I was really
Like
into
you
it that
forgot.
day.
Yeah.
Or like I was maybe really into it that day, but it actually wasn't valuable to me through the course of the year, right? Like that is
Yeah.
so I mean, I don't know. And I also have my suspicions about the data. It also, like, I feel like it's not accurate. So
I'm so happy we're talking about this because this brings me to my next recommendation,
go for it.
right? Actually, it's okay. So this is not a recommendation that I have like fully like dived into and I want someone else to like read it based on my reading of it. It's more a book that I would like to read because I've kind of like dived into the idea. But essentially, it's a book called Enshittification.
Oh, yeah.
Why everything suddenly got worse and what to do about it. It's by Cory Doctorow, and I think he's like an open internet, free internet sort of activist. He's also written a whole bunch of like science fiction, like futuristic books and novels. But I wanted to bring this up because I think like as a concept, the idea of enshittification, when I first came across it, I'm like, wow, this is making so many years of my life make so much sense. And I think all of us have experienced it, right? Like we're talking about tech platforms and how they're getting shittier over time and are completely out of touch with what users really want, right? And I think like every platform doing a wrap, this is enshittification in action for sure. But it made me think, the example that he uses is Facebook. Right. And enshittification, the way he defines it, is the slow worsening of a platform. And it begins in different phases. The first phase is when it's actually good, right? That's when more users want to use it. And that's when they get locked into it. And then they realize, oh, everybody's locked into it. So we no longer need to think about what the users want. We instead turn our focus to what like advertisers want. So we will instead incentivize advertisers, give them exactly what they want, which is like hyper-focused targeting of users. And then once the advertisers are locked in, they realize that, oh, they don't need to do anything well. And they're not even serving them anymore. And it's like the slow deterioration of this platform. But everybody's locked in and you can't get out. So I think he's like a very like persuasive, like public speaker. The idea, honestly, it's just describing what happens when there's a monopoly, right? Like this is the outcome of like shitty services and products because there is one behemoth that has like swallowed up its competition, which is what Facebook has done, right? It bought Instagram, bought WhatsApp, and it's crappy, but everyone's still on Instagram. Facebook sucks, but we moved over to Instagram. So I just feel like we're in this transition phase, right?
I'm so glad that you brought this up because actually I was going to bring this up. Like, it's not actually, it didn't make the cut, like, because I was just like, oh, I don't know if I want to recommend this. But I had listened to The Grey Area with Sean Illing, which is a podcast.
That's what I've heard as well.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So it's the episode called The Great Enshittening. That's the episode where he brings in Cory Doctorow. And I was like,
mind blown,
fascinated and riveted through the whole episode, like enjoyed it. And I was like, oh wow, like he has so astutely put into words like what we've all been feeling and trying to describe, but he like has like put it under like this one umbrella term. And I just feel like it's such a relevant and important thing for us to be thinking about, right? But like those three phases, the like what you said, something that like I think comes up again and again, even in my own job, is that when any platform hits phase 2, which is essentially like it gets incentivized for
advertisers,
advertisers and businesses and things like that. What also happens as an effect of that is the actual consumers, like the core audience, starts to kind of leave. Or like is not as engaged or not as interested in the platform anymore. This is definitely happening on Instagram, where you see like engagement rates with like branded content like are really going down. People can see through branded ads and branded like content, and that's basically all that Instagram is right now. And if you think about like some of your favorite like content creators on the internet, whether it's YouTube or on Instagram, once they hit a certain number, right, like a certain all of their content after that is paid content. It's all advertisers. It's all branded content. The original thing that made you follow that content creator is no longer like it's done. It's completely done. And they fall into then again this cyclical trap of like, I need to get my dough. And now I have made this my primary job. So like every post I put out has to be like sponsored by some kind of brand or business. So
you know what?
This video is sponsored by NordVPN.
But you know what's so funny? Because of all of these like narratives, right, around like enshittification, what's happening, what's the state of platforms? Is it even like cool to have lots of followers? Because if you do, you've like won at a game, which kind of proves that you have like sort of given into create mass producing like random like bullshit to just like crowd up your feed and your profile.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, it's okay if our podcast doesn't have too many listeners or too many followers, because that means we haven't been touched by enshittification yet. And that's a good thing.
And that also brings me to this concept that I read recently. I actually sent it to you about the anti-meme.
Yeah.
Which is basically like on the internet. Like it was this really interesting Substack article which was titled something to the effect of like going viral is for superficial losers.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. But essentially the entire article is like it sort of references a lot of different books that kind of talk about this topic, but it's essentially about like the slow internet movement, which is in a nascent stage, but it's kind of like a response to this greater enshittification and also how ideas do spread. And should certain ideas go viral too early? Should certain pieces of media go viral too early? Or rather, should we gatekeep them, let them sort of exist in their own space, let the right kind of audience find it and really develop that idea and hone that idea till it's ready for a mass audience. Is that like, so that it sort of explores that, and it calls these ideas the anti-memes. Because like they, according to the writer or the author, like they are not yet ready for public consumption.
Yeah,
like
and they don't spread as fast. They don't go viral.
And because of sometimes even because of the nature, either they're too dense, like it's like the general public will just not be interested enough to read like dense material or like engage with something that is complex in this way, or it's controversial in a sense where it's like we have to debate this out. We have to really think about like what we're saying when we're saying this thing. Like it's not easy to digest just yet,
Yeah.
So interesting. The state of the internet.
Thinking people is an anti-meme is
I mean,
what it is.
Tying back to your first thing about Sapiens, right? I think he called it, Dr. O called it the Enshitocene.
The Enshitocene
is the era that humanity is entering right now.
Yes. No, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's so funny that we watched the same like podcast episode, Ketki, and never spoke to each other about it until today. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. It definitely got me thinking, and yeah, I've just been going back. Like my mind has been going back to it. And the funny thing is, I often think about like Substack. It's like the Twitter for writers. Like everybody who got like fed up of Twitter and is a writer decided to move to Substack, right? And I sometimes think of Letterboxd as film Twitter moving to Letterboxd. And all I can think of is like, these platforms are good because I think they're more geared towards the user. That's like phase one, right? And in my mind, I'm like, are they going to get enshittified? Like, is this a matter of time?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely like a clarifying idea. But yeah, I think we're at our final
round.
Yeah, mindful of time, so I feel like we should do like a speed round.
Yes, I will be quick. I mean, I feel like all my recommendations are now pop culture recommendations. I didn't really think of high level concepts, but I'm glad that you brought it up and that we could discuss this. But my last recommendation is this TV show called Long Story Short. It's an animated TV show by the creator of BoJack Horseman, Raphael Bob Waxberg. Have you guys heard of it?
Yes, but I have not watched it.
You have not watched it, yeah. So only one season came out, and this is my only recommendation of something that came out in 2025.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I feel like I missed his kind of storytelling, his characterization, and how he's able to sort of like explore very complex themes and topics, and the kind of ways in which he does that. I mean, BoJack is obviously like incredible, amazing show. this show I feel like has a lot of potential to kind of it's been renewed for a second season, so that will be coming out soon. But I think it has a lot of potential to develop, and I feel like you can see that he wants this to run over a period of time, much like BoJack Horseman, because even with that show, like there's so many seeds that are planted in the first season that only really like kind of the loose ends are tied like maybe in the sixth season or something like
Yeah.
that, right? Like so it's you can see that he's already started to do this with this particular show, but essentially the show is about a family, mother and father and their three children, and each episode is it's basically exploring family dynamics through the lens of memory. So each episode is sort of like a different snippet in of like a period in time. So it's basically it could be through the lens of one character, it could be like
Yeah.
one Thanksgiving that all the family members were together, but it touches upon all of the different characters in each episode. But it's some episodes are told through the lens of one character, some episodes are just like regular episodes and things like that. But it was very like it was just a great watch. Like I know we don't have much time, so I won't speak too much about it, but I really recommend it because of how he uses memory to do this storytelling. Like it was just great and very, very lovely. Yeah, watch it, guys.
Yeah. No, I
Highly
love
recommend. Yeah.
Raphael Bob Waxberg. I think his writing style has always resonated
Yeah.
with me. Like whether it's BoJack or his like book of short stories, Someone Who Will Love You and All Your Damaged Glory. Like that was
So
something
good.
that really like stayed with me for a long time. And I think I don't know if he was a writer on this show, but he was definitely like producing. There was this like rotoscope animation show called Undone.
Yes.
on
Such
Amazon
a good
Prime.
show. Oh my god.
Yeah,
yes.
which is also about like going back in time and memory and like
Yeah.
just ingenious storytelling, like forms and devices.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Sourav.
SD.
Mine's going to be a tech product.
Love it.
Yay! Tell us.
Something Sarai
2000.
and I could never recommend, but yes.
2025 is the year when Logitech finally launched an update to their absolutely goated mouse, the MX Master.
Yes.
This is
Like a-
now going to sound like an ad spot.
I'll pretend I know what that means.
It's a mouse. Like,
Like
a computer mouse?
Like a okay, right.
It's a
Yes.
mouse.
Okay.
Is it
No.
ergonomic?
Yes. It's also expensive. But it's on discount frequently on Amazon.
Right.
But the reason why this is going to be my top recommendation every year that they launch a new one, and they launch once every like 4 years or so, and this
Right.
year they launched a new one, is because you're
It's
going
like
to be
the Olympics.
yeah, it's that, yeah.
Yeah.
And it comes with its own fanfare, right? They do like months of like small reveals. They drop tiny amounts of. They do what is it called? Drip marketing, right? They will
Right.
launch an image. They will launch the specs. Nobody knows what the full story is. It's a mouse, guys, right?
Okay.
Clearly, I mean, you are like waiting with bated breath.
Okay.
But yes.
Tell me why do you use what are the advantages of a mouse over the trackpad?
Fantastic. You are going to be touching this thing for the majority of the 8 hours that you're at work, right? You're going to be using your laptop. Your hands are going to be cramped up over your trackpad. It's got a tiny surface area.
Right.
And if you're doing editing work or coding work, or you just do lots of writing, it's kind of distracting to constantly have to like navigate that tiny touch area on your laptop. Plus, I
Right.
use a desktop, so I don't have a trackpad.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I have a question.
Yeah.
I haven't used a mouse in many years. But
This would be like a glove.
really isn't it the thing that gives you like carpal tunnel?
This is exclusively designed
Okay,
to prevent carpal tunnel.
I see.
Damn.
Now,
Some
the-
mouse.
this is the Logitech MX Master 4,
Right.
which just came out. It also comes this year with haptic feedback. So, for certain actions and certain notification, your mouse, tiny constantly vibrates to nudge you and make you know about what's going on. It makes your clicks feel more robust, right? Gives you that tactile feeling, and it's also 11 grand. So,
You know, in the age of like AI and like fucking 40,000 AI startups, it feels nice to hear about like interesting innovations in
Like hardware.
hardware
I'm
innovation.
gonna burst your bubble. The Logitech's already going through the enshittification process.
Oh,
Their
no.
mouse has AI in it.
What?
Yeah.
What is it tracking?
Yeah, what is it?
They have a dedicated button in the mouse, and if you press it, it opens Logitech's prompt builder, which is just like a chat GPT wrapper, so that you can get your inspiration really fast from
Right.
it, I guess.
Oh,
Do you
dear.
know what I used to do when I was a kid? I mean, this is not a mouse thing. This is like a cursor thing. I used to download like cursor packs from the internet and then change my pointer to something snazzy.
We've all done that. You
Have you
download
done that? Kate?
you
I have
download
not done
themes.
that.
You download themes on your computer,
Yeah.
and that's how you learn. As a young child, about what malware is.
Yeah, I haven't done this, but I kind of want to do it right now. Could I do this right now on my Mac?
I
Cursor
guess
pack?
so.
I think so.
You probably could.
But I remember seeing things like this. Like my friend had a unicorn
Yeah.
as a cursor and
As
stuff.
a kid, I was fascinated by it because I had a really, really crappy laptop, which ran like Windows XP, and Windows Vista came out.
Oh my God.
Now, Windows Vista sucked, right? But it
It did.
looked really cool. It had those like frosted glass look with like the widgets and everything.
Mm.
So you could download skins off the internet and apply it on top of Windows XP to make it look like Vista. The amount of times I have accidentally crashed my computer or got a virus which erased everything is incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice. Good recommendation. We need to have links in our episode description.
We will. We put the
Affiliate links, all of them.
Yeah. Yes. Send us all the links.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my final recommendation. Okay. So this is my pop culture contribution to this episode.
Finally.
Yes. So it's not any like one TV show or movie. It's more like a way in which I decided what to watch this year. So I think I wanted to like, I became very aware of the fact that a lot of the things I was watching was because, I would read about it on social media. And then after that, I would end up like looking at what people were saying about it on social media. And that started killing the joy for me.
Yeah.
So I think sometime this year, I decided that I don't want to watch anything that anyone is talking about. Like, I just want to watch stuff that is going to like scratch some itch in my brain.
Yeah.
And there's also something I've discovered about myself is that I like hyper specific categories of things. And a hyper specific category that I got like really into in the past like couple of months was watching movies that are based in the second half of the 19th century, especially during like Victorian or Edwardian like era England. And I ended up just watching a whole bunch of movies that were just based in that time period. And I'm going to ignore
This happens
this.
every episode.
I
At
know.
this point.
Yeah.
Saurav's like, I know.
Yes. Going back to my hyper-specific way of choosing movies. But basically, why this era, right? Like sort of like World War II, I really like transition eras in history when you move from like one time period to the next. And I especially like late 19th century, early 20th century, maybe up until like the First World War, because it's when I feel like history starts to resemble the modern world. The Industrial Revolution has happened. That means you have trains. That means you have scenes on trains. That means your story can happen in a universe where people can travel quickly, right? Because anything happening before that era means you're going somewhere on horseback or in a carriage, right? So trains opens up storylines. Number two, electricity is just about happening, right? It's in getting introduced. So you have like storylines where there might be a radio, so it's like you can see the world start to resemble the world that we know today. Like modernity is beginning. And the third thing that I really like about this era is that this is kind of when first wave feminism happened. So it's like you're kind of going back to the original sort of like motivator for like women's rights. I'm like, yes, we should vote. It's like, it's very like straightforward, uncomplicated, because we like live in this era where feminism has become so complicated that I do like going back and being like, yes, all of us want to vote. No, like people fought for it, we accepted it, and no one's contesting it now, hopefully. Hopefully no one's contesting it. But I watched a whole bunch of stuff that's based in this time period. I started with Suffragette, which is a 2015 movie. It's got Carey Mulligan, Meryl Streep, Ben Whishaw. Like, straightforward movie about the suffragettes. Amazing. Felt good. Was kind of serious. But that's the thing that kind of like set off this series of movies that and TV shows that I ended up watching. After this, I watched both Enola Holmes movies in one day. Her mom, played by I was going to say Bellatrix, Helena Bonham Carter. She is a suffragette. I'm like, yes, there's one very like significant train scene in the first movie, which was very satisfying. So yeah, I really like it. You can also see like cities become cities, like grimy, right? In this time period. So Enola Holmes. And then I watched this movie called Miss Potter, which has Renee Zellweger in it, who plays like a cartoonist who created Peter Rabbit, and essentially it's about her. So it's like women are doing things, right? In society. So I like those stories. And then I watched The House of Guinness on Netflix, which was also very satisfying to watch. But yeah, I think this time period, if anyone is given to hyperfixation, likes period anything, this was, firstly, a lot of shit has been made on this time period. Like you tend to think it's all like World War II, but yeah, the late Victorian era as a time period. And I think I found more movies, and like while I was doing my research, like what to watch next. There's a whole bunch of them. So yeah, can make a small like listicle.
Love it. Yeah, you should. We can. I think we should make a little listicle of like all the recommendations in today's episode and put it out for the 10 people that listen to this. I'm sure.
Hey, come on!
For
it's
our
50. It's 50
of a podcast show. Yeah, it's 50 people.
The dedicated 50. Yeah,
it's a dedicated 50. Yeah, I think we have a good dedicated like 50 people that average our listens.
That's good, because I definitely know fewer than 50 people.
Yeah.
So some of them have discovered us.
Yes. They've chanced upon us.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Great recommendations, guys. Any predictions? Very quick, rapid fire predictions.
Predictions for
2026?
What? Oh, what's going to happen in 2026? I think that AI companies are going to wholeheartedly transition into a user subscription based model that is going to be a business model that's entirely based on like therapy services, like chatbot girlfriend/boyfriends, and basically catering to your intimacy and connection needs. And they're going to stop pretending that it was ever about like, what's it called? Like efficiency and productivity.
Yeah. Or a non-profit, apparently, is what it originally was meant to
Oh
be.
my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No longer. What about you, Sourav?
My prediction is that all of these companies are going to self-implode and collapse.
Oh, the bubble. Bubble's going to burst.
AI is a bubble?
It's good God, please let it be a bubble.
Yeah.
If this bubble bursts, will it affect our jobs?
No, it'll make my life easier.
I don't think so.
Perfect.
Yeah. If you still have like ancient old school skills, like you can write a sentence.
Right.
My prediction is greater embrace of the analog. It's already happening. I think it's only going to happen more and more. It's resistance to monopolistic exploitative tech, basically.
Correct.
So yes. Okay. On that happy note, thank you everyone for listening. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and see you in 2026.
Signing off.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening. Thinking People podcast is hosted by Sanaya Chandar and Ketki Sharma. Our producer for this episode is Sourav Das.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your audio content. Be sure to follow us at Thinking People Pod on Twitter or X and at Thinking People Pod on Instagram. If you'd like to get in touch, write to us at thinkingpeoplepodcast@gmail.com.
Stay tuned for our next episode.